So let's bring Darko.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Crazy timing.
Oh, hello. Hello. I wasn't expecting an applause, but hey, how are you all doing?
Yeah. So happy to have you here with us. You kind of got on our radar with your amazing video checking Wing out. Everyone here at the office was actually very impressed by your technical prowess. We were like, it was like a show for us. We were like, oh no, he's gonna fail here. Oh, I can't believe he found out. It was really, really like amazing to watch, and it was very good feedback for us. So we said we must have this guy on the show with us.
What can I say? Thank you so much for inviting me. And you know, like, the show that you watched is just me fumbling around with some technology, and like I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of just, um, excuse the pun, winging stuff. Just kind of try to see if something will work, and like Wing kind of came up on my social media and like LinkedIn and a bunch of other stuff. I think I saw it, even was it on Fireship? I don't know. Somebody mentioned it, and
Yeah,
I was
for
like,
sure.
oh, cool, yeah, okay, let's go and see what this thing is, because I am a fan of infrastructure as code. So, and then you know, you got the raw, unfiltered. I have never seen this before in my life experience, and it was rather positive, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, you could have fooled us. It looked really, no, it looked really good. Like you were really uh, managing to basically do whatever you wanted. Even if some things took a while, but we were not expect like we do see a lot. We get a lot of feedback, and we see a lot of people starting out, and then they stumble into one of the things they stumbled onto,
Right.
and they fail to kind of pick themselves up without help. And you, like every time, you manage to find a workaround or a way around, and that was impressive.
And I, I,
Um,
must, I must say, I was very impressed by the fact that you folks reached out to me on social media, and like my complaint about a lot of lines of code and Lambda, and you got it fixed. I mean, that's just, hey, that is very much great. Thank you so much.
yeah, so about that, we kind of we got it temporarily fixed.
Mhm.
So we reduced like the 40,000 lines of code to like 400, but then we found out that it actually degrades performance.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't remember the exact explanation behind it, but apparently, like importing the AWS SDK instead of getting some of its code in our
Yeah.
Lambda function is less efficient.
Yeah.
So we now need to do a more fine-grained approach. So try to see where which code we can not bring and bring like a higher resolution, I guess. But yeah, that
I
was
mean,
an interesting
think about if you have not already. I'm sure you have, about Lambda layers. If you're using Lambda functions, Lambda layers will help you kind of offload some of those things into different layers. So could be potentially even faster.
Yeah, so
So
we'll look into it. But
awesome.
before we go deeper into Wing, I think our viewers would like to hear a bit about you.
Mm. So hello, my name is Darko Mesaroš. I'm what they used to call a systems administrator. A long time ago, we used to go around company, carry around a screwdriver, and fix servers, printers, and whatever, right? And that's how I started my life. And for most of my tech career, I was just doing that, doing maintenance and setting up architectures and systems and whatnot. These days, I go by developer advocate. I happen to be working for AWS, and my job consists mostly on talking about technology, building stuff, teaching people, and mostly yelling into this camera right here. So I'm currently based out of Seattle, Washington. I am originally from Serbia and have been with AWS for almost 8 years. So that is a lot in Amazon years. So I've been here for quite a while, and I do enjoy myself doing this stuff. So that's me in a nutshell. Beyond that, I collect old computers. So like you will see bunch of old computers and software all around me. I have a weird obsession with this. It's bordering on a problem because like anywhere you turn around, um, I will get you an old computer. So yeah, I have more than I need. So but hey, that's fun. That's at least it makes me appreciate what we have right now.
Yeah,
For
and
sure.
you just collect them, or do you also maintain them, build
I
them, fix them?
I fixed them, so like most of the computers I have are working. So like behind me, you don't see it right now, but behind me there's like a old Apple IIgs, the original IBM PC, bunch of old Apple computers, Amigas, whatever, all Commodores, all that kind of stuff. So I try to fix them, try to make them work, and also I try to make them do stuff they shouldn't do. Like,
Hmm.
I don't have it here, but like I had an old portable computer and I used it to deploy Kubernetes. It's not as magical as it seems, but the thing is, most of these very old computers, so like this thing, let me just make this look like an actual computer. There we go. See, that's the keyboard,
Yeah.
Wow.
and that's the computer. Most of these old computers are basically terminals, right? Dumb terminals, and you can, with some finesse, you can attach them to a Linux machine through a serial connection, and have it be as a dumb terminal, and just build the cloud through them. So I usually like to do those things. And a question coming from Hack and Soul says, "What computer is that?" Next to me, this is a Macintosh SE30, and I believe it still works. So it should start up now, hopefully. But yes, see, it's booting up.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
Wow.
something's definitely happening there.
yeah.
Nice. So in your DevRel work, like which kind of technologies do you usually? Uh,
So coming from this sort of a systems administration background, I'm a big fan of DevOps and infrastructure management. And on top of that, I'm a huge fan of developer experiences. So as I cannot call myself a developer. Like I have not built production grade applications. I've maintained them and I've maintained infrastructure for them, but I cannot call myself a developer. But I do know what it means to have a good experience when writing code, when building things. So I'm a big fan of having a really good experience as a developer, and hence infrastructure as code frameworks like Wing or CDK or Terraform or whatever, which one you like to use, bring me so much joy because I don't have to use this. Um, I can just never leave the comfort of my wonderful little uh, terminal or whatever you would like to call it. And like specifically with Wing, one of the things I liked is that it can help me. Of course, it's limited right now with what they can do, but some of the simple things that I need as a developer are just very much handy, and I like that.
nice. Um, so I wonder, like, where do you think we should take, like, what shape do you think Wing should take in the future?
Okay, can I show you something? So I'm gonna share my screen right now. So I'm gonna ask you to present my screen if you feel comfortable. I want to show you something.
Sure.
Look at that. So that is my screen, and if I open up main W and just two lines of code, bup, bup, this thing. Well, let this thing go away. Come on, you can go away. This thing here is the best thing in the world. Two lines of code, I deploy a website on the cloud. Glorious, glorious. This makes me so happy because deploying a website seems rather easy, right? Oh, you just put it to an S3 bucket or whatever you want to do, or deploy to web server or whatnot. Yeah, but setting up CloudFront, setting up CDN stuff, setting up all of these things on top of that can be quite cumbersome. Doing it in two lines of code, and it's not even two lines of code; it's a single line of code, is something I really find amazing with Wing. And I do wish that Wing will tackle some of these most common tasks people use, the cloud for, and just make it as simple as you can. Like just, hey, here's 2 lines of code to do this, or and of course we should also be able to customize it as much as possible, but the default settings should be the ones anybody can choose and just do this. And this is a whole thing where you create a website. Like if there was an option, make new cloud website I don't know, with CI/CD, that'd be great. Like if this would do it, like create a pipeline and it would do a bunch of other things for us, great. Like this is something that I would like to see in the future, but I understand the limitations of languages and frameworks. So yeah.
So yeah, actually, that's amazing feedback, especially because we're on it. Yeah, I think we're together with the rest of the community. We're on a journey to basically, yeah, discover these common use cases that we can simplify. Um, but before I can go on and on, but basically this website resource, that's Tsuf's child. Um,
Okay.
and so we'll let her say a few things maybe about that.
Hey, okay. So I'm so glad you liked it. Also, I am planning to have a new React website. It will be called React App. So you can
Okay.
also have the great developer experience of developing React, and then like combining some environment variables and stuff you get out of the Wing code. So
That,
that's
that's
nice,
great.
and you deploy it with one line.
Yeah.
And
That
also, when playing with Wing a little bit, I think also maybe deploying a container with Node.js app or something similar will have the same effect.
I like that. I think like one of this example that I was using, actually played around with this today, is I deployed a React website, right? Although I had to do like npm run build locally, like I had to compile it locally. So for example, a function that would just run a couple of npm build commands, or whatever commands I give it, before it actually deploys it to the cloud, would be a really useful, neat little thing. So I don't know, like a couple of things are really great. And a question here: can people with no front end knowledge manage a React website? Um, I have no front end knowledge, and I'm managing a React website as much as I can. So I guess you can. Ultimately, you want to deploy something. And here's the thing: as a person who builds backend systems and APIs and whatnot, usually the front end is the problem for me because I'm not skilled enough to build it. So having a simple way to build it and deploy it, so you can test it, is of utmost importance. So I appreciate the ability to do so.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. Like before Wing Cloud, Suf and I both worked at a different company, and we built a web application. And all the developers there were full stack engineers, not like full stack in the sense that they also do DevOps, but full stack like front and back end. And and that was a big hurdle. Like we were Kubernetes based, and there was hardly anyone that really was able to maintain like to add a new service or to just do something end to end. And I think Tuf brought this uh, pain with her that, oh yeah, I just want to be able to create a website. And she brought it here and she created this resource, and she has other ideas. And yeah, it fills me with joy to see this come to light, and to see other developers that don't have the DevOps skill set be able
Yeah,
to do it.
Yes. Basically, I take everything that I don't know how to deploy and want to put it in one line of code.
yeah, exactly. Again, and with sensible defaults, I think that's the whole point. Like having sensible
Yeah.
defaults for most folks, that's great. But with the same ability to kind of like modify it where it makes sense. So Yeah. So yeah, I see Eric is here. Hello, Eric. Hi. Hi. I'm not sure if you had Eric EDJ Geek. So he is a bundle of joy. He's everything and everything, anything when it comes to serverless. So he is the person I say hello to when I have serverless questions and issues at AWS.
Yeah,
So
we
he's
we,
there.
we love we love Eric. He actually has been on this show, and we went on his show, some with friends, and uh, and yeah, it's amazing to have you here with us, Eric. Um, and yeah, and you said you discussed CI/CD or deployment, Darko, and I think you touched on I guess the kind of the boundary between Winglang and Wing Cloud. So with Winglang, yeah, it's a language and a tool set with the simulator and everything, but we are working right now on the Wing Cloud. And basically, with Wing Cloud, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get an out of the box experience where you just connect to your GitHub repository, and then you create a pull request. You automatically get a preview environment for it, and then you merge the pull request. You get a production deployment with sensible defaults. But I think that yeah, having Wing behind the scenes will enable developers that want to customize, so they could choose between our default platforms, but they could also create their own platforms using Wing, um, and move between platforms, but without changing the actual application code. So yeah, that's the plan.
Now, a question I have for you, like when looking at the Wing language itself, like for example, one of the challenges I had was deploying an API on my stream, and then like your entire API, the REST API functionality, or the resource library, whatever you call it. The language written in that API is that it looks very much like JavaScript. Is your language like compatible with JavaScript, or is it sort of compatible with JavaScript?
So because specifically for JavaScript, because we compile to JavaScript, so yeah, it is compatible. You can import any npm module and use it inside Wing. We do also plan to publish our SDK, basically the Wing standard library. We plan to publish it to other languages. Probably TypeScript is going to be the first one. So you don't get all the compiler like cool stuff like generating IAM policies for you, etc. But you will get the abstraction, the ability to work at an abstract level with the cloud in different languages.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, yeah, cool. I mean, I like it. So if I don't know if you had a chance to, it was a long time ago. Check out Chalice. Chalice is a
Yeah.
Python. Yeah, so you remember Chalice. Chalice is a Python framework for building APIs on AWS. Wing initially gave me a similar vibe to Chalice, but it is definitely different because it brings a lot more to the table as well. So I am again big fan of it. Looking forward to seeing more.
Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
If you would set me on to explore Winglang, and say, Darko, you should do this. What should I do? What should I play around with in Winglang? What is the thing I should learn? Like, I don't know, something about Winglang. Where's the first
that's
place you would send me?
I think I have an answer. I think like maybe take a problem you have in your life and try to build something real. That would be
Okay.
the best exploration, I think.
Okay.
Also, if you will manage to succeed, you will have this something real in your hand. So that's good.
that that is very good. That's very good. I like that. Okay. Does Wing run a Commodore 64? I don't know if I don't have it in a floppy disk, so but so I can actually I can write Wing from a Commodore 64. I can deploy Wing from a Commodore 64. It's a bit cheating because again terminals and whatnots, but I'm able to sit down and take a Commodore 64 and type out a Wing program on it and do some deployments. So yeah, there you go. Backwards compatibility.
yeah. That's very amazing. Let's see. Mark writes that the Wing tool chain should work anywhere that Node works.
Should.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure, that's it. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, I like the fact that it's very simple, seamless to install and set up. And the only thing I'm missing, and this is something where I actually may do something about it, is that I use Vim as my text editor, and there's no syntax highlighting on Vim. I know there's support for VS Code, so that exists somewhere. So I'm gonna see if I can add the feature to Vim or something like that. So,
Wow.
so at least I have nicer looking Wing code.
That would be amazing. I guess, yeah, there is support for Visual Studio Code. There is support for, I forgot, another IDE.
IntelliJ.
IntelliJ, yeah.
IntelliJ.
Yeah, and I think Eyal will really appreciate having Vim support because I think he uses it.
So there's a language server. Okay, that's pretty cool. Then somebody may have beat me to it. So if there's a language server running for Vim, so let's see.
I'm not sure. Probably we haven't tried it with Vim, but yeah, should be.
Yeah, there is Winglang parsers already. Oh, I think, yeah. Okay, there is. Somebody beat me to it. So it's not built into Vim, but you have to set it up for something called Tree Sitter, at least in NeoVim. So, okay, good.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, and thank you, Mark, for basically. Mark is in charge of the language server, basically. So he should know. And Eric, the side that you added a comment before, is it because you found so many bugs for us?
It's because he doesn't want it. He wants to see it deployed from a Commodore 64, and we've not yet deployed it. That's why. Yeah. Oh, Darko has a better beard. Yeah, but Eric, we have the same haircut. Just so you know, we rock the same haircut style. Just so you know. I just left to get my Commodore 64. Just so you know.
Yeah, it's very similar to Elad's haircut, and probably soon mine too.
Exactly, it is. I don't know, like for me, my hair decided just to migrate to my face, and that's it. So that's where it stayed. What can I do?
Usually migrations are both ways, so who knows? Things might change.
This one just ran down, and that's about it. But yeah, bald men think alike. That's true. So I see you, Eric. So I see you, Eric, and Elad as well. So. But yeah.
Cool.
So I have another question for you as well. Like one of the things that I found very unique about Winglang is the ability to run stuff locally. How did that come about, and how can you cover all of the services and features in local? Is that one of the limitations you are facing? I don't want to get into the details, but like, is that one of the limitations that it's posing? Because if you want to expose every resource, every library locally.
So first, how it came about, that's basically Elad and his vision. So he just wanted to be able to write a cloud application on a flight. Elad, even if he takes a flight from Israel to San Francisco, it's a 16-hour flight. He just works the entire 16 hours. That's how he passes the flight. And so he wanted to be able to be on a flight without Wi-Fi and be able to work. And so one of his main design tenets for Wing was, I want to be able to run my cloud application locally. So that's how it came about. And I think it's not a limitation if we have a strong community, because first thing is that the cloud has a huge surface, but if we look at the standard library for Wing, then it's not the entire cloud surface. It's just the 20, 30 main services that you mostly need. And even then, we don't need to abstract the entire service. We just abstract the functional parts of the service. So if you take a bucket, an S3, so we don't need to abstract away the this is the first local development service that I think has a good chance.
I agree.
Yeah, and I think it's mostly because of the fact that we don't abstract everything, so just the functional parts. So it's easy to abstract the bucket's functional parts like put, get, list. it's harder to do this with the non-functional parts like the encryption and redundancy and everything else, but we don't touch that for the simulator. And the other leg is, the community. Basically, everyone can add more resources and they can publish them as libraries, and everyone else can use those libraries. So hopefully we'll have a good library ecosystem and have many things there.
Okay. Again, a huge fan of it. Like, whenever I have to develop like Lambda functions locally and like want to test them without an API gateway, I usually have to change the Lambda function so it can run locally. So I see, does the actual logic work, or deploy and wait and try and all that kind of fun stuff. So big fan of this. I think it's a really good thing you have there. And I'm looking forward for more things that are supported and more stuff we can test out locally. So yeah.
Cool. To Hack and Solve's question, doesn't local stack simulate the AWS universe? Yes, it does. And it simulates both the functional parts and the non-functional parts. So it's a full simulator, unlike Wing's functional simulator. But for Wing, the actual simulation is not for AWS. It is for this abstract notion of a cloud.
Yeah.
So that's those are the differences. And I think in many cases, the Wing simulator implementation of a resource can be a local stack implementation. So that's I guess the connection between the two.
And I do love that approach that you've taken. Instead of just simulating an actual service/resource, you're simulating what it does, right? Object storage or a queue or whatnot, right? And for most people, I'm gonna put a big old asterisk here. For most people, that's sufficient. If you get into edge cases and some specifics, potentially you will run into issues, but that's fine.
Yeah, I think it's enough for most people most of the time. I think that it's okay while you're developing, and it was created for while you develop and you care about the functionality of the application. Obviously, as you go towards staging environments, you want to also check every non-functional concern, and then obviously you can the Wing simulator is not enough. And as Mark says, as Mark writes, there is a very big use case for local stack and Wing together, and we actually have a meetup coming up soon where together with local stack, and we're gonna show examples together.
I like that. Well, looking forward to checking those things out. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, cool. So I guess we're kind of getting towards our end of time. So if anyone has any other questions, or Darko, if you want to add something, now's the time.
Yeah. Any questions from the chat towards me? Please do send them my way. Happy to answer. Happy to talk about anything. But yeah, I think like one of the beauties this thing brings is that the speed of like local development, right? You wanna the thing you want to spend the less time on is setting up a thing so you can do development on, right? For me, the biggest challenge is when I build something, when I do stuff, is like, okay, I have to do this whole scaffolding part before I even write my first line of code. And that is something I don't want to do, right? Like, or having to deploy stuff to the cloud, or like, oh, it's not the best time to do some development now because I don't have good access to the internet or whatnot. So eliminating these things allows a developer, a builder, to just do stuff wherever and whenever. Again, building the cloud does not make you special, and this is going to be controversial, right? You bringing storage or queues or websites or APIs does not make you special, right? Everybody has access to the same resources in the cloud. Yours are no special than anybody else's. What is special about you is the line of code that you write. So focusing on the idea of just having your mean time to code shortened is very important. So yeah. Do I see this replacing DevOps people? No, absolutely not, because the code that Winglang does has to go through somebody. Somebody has to make a decision. This is the best way to do it. Here are some of the defaults you have to use, and a bunch of other things. I feel like we have a lot more shift left. Is the term, right? When you move stuff from the pipeline or from the production system or from the cloud left to the developer, which includes both security, and in this case, like actual infrastructure or whatnot. So that is a really good thing. So
Yeah, I have to agree. I think that if you're a student or you're working on a hobby project, or even if you're working at a company or on a small project, maybe an internal tool, then yeah, you can maybe use Wing and use one of the default platforms, and then you can get away with having uh, to need a DevOps person. But for real world applications, for bigger companies, yeah, I think it's just Wing is here to basically allow a better separation of concerns. So as a developer, you can work on your applicative part, and you can test it locally, and you can do it without needing DevOps help. But eventually, the DevOps or platform teams, they're going to need to generate the platform that you compile to. So you're not going to use one of Wing's default platforms, but you're going to use Wing to build the platform for your company, and then you compile your applications to that company's platform. And that work is the work of the DevOps, among other things such as maintenance and
exactly. And remember, kids, there's no such thing as a DevOps engineer. That's a made-up title. Those people don't exist. Those are some system admins in disguise that know how to do some CI/CD now. But yeah, so the comment from Eric is saying the idea of building monolithic applications and compiling to a distributed microservices. Yeah, great, love it. It's so great. And Marcio is asking, I would love to see a new live stream. I will do it. I potentially this week or next week I will do a whole live stream to do more. I have a few ideas that I want to see if I can deploy with Wing. I've done something with CDK, and now especially that at AWS we released Bedrock, which is the generative AI platform. I built an app that does stuff with Bedrock, so I want to see if I can kind of merge the two or make something out of it. So we'll see. We'll see. Either this Friday or next Friday. Follow me on the social medias. You will find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever. I'll post there. So
we will.
Cool. I just want to say that I think Wing will democratize DevOps in a sense. I mean, if I look at the DevOps team on my company, well, they're super busy, and often they have like those little tasks, like please open a bucket, it's public, and I can use it for assets and whatever. And it's super easy for them, but they're super busy, and they'd really appreciate it if a developer can do that. And most developers don't like doing that because they don't want to start building IAM policies and messing with the nitty gritty stuff, and something always goes wrong for some reason. So that'll actually help developers feel pretty comfortable taking all those small tasks and leaving the really super specific and actually more interesting tasks for the more specialized people.
Okay, I have a feature request, and this may exist. I don't see it straight off the bat. So, when deploying resources to the cloud as a developer from my workstation, I'm doing a bucket, a website, a function, an API, whatever, right? Give me the ability to create global tags. Every resource I deploy is tagged when it's deployed. That means that if I go and do Wing deploy, and my laptop explodes, and I don't have lingering resources out there that are belonging to somebody else, or in the world of cost optimization, my cost team wants to know how much am I deploying? Why did I deploy 1,700 websites on my weekend testing? So
it's just one line, why not?
Yeah, exactly. having the ability to tag resources that are being launched is just a really good way to track stuff, if anything else. So I don't know, like maybe when you do Brink Cloud, you have a thing say global tags or whatever, and then you set a tag, and it sets the tags for any resource that can be tagged. So, reasons start. Yeah, exactly. Eric, my AWS account is 8 years old, and I have 150 S3 buckets in it, and I don't even want to look what's in them. How much stuff is useless. So yeah, tag your resources, folks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think there is an issue about that, but if not, we'll make sure to open one. And about the cost thing or estimation, then Yeah, you're talking about Elad's new baby. So basically, Elad is now very excited about checking out what you can do with a compiler that sees everything about cost. And there was actually an academic paper, I forgot from which university, that was published recently. And they used Wing in order to do some nice things around cost. Um, and we just stumbled upon it by accident, and we're probably going to reach out and work with them and see where we can take it.
So for inspiration, if you have not, check out the tool called InfraCost.
Yeah.
InfraCost is a tool made by a company called InfraCost. Their CEO was on my show last week, Hassan, and what they do is basically they take a Terraform template, you run InfraCost on it, and it just estimates the cost of that deployment. You can do usage reports, you estimated usage and whatnot. So a feature like that in Wing, where you say wing it and then a couple of dashes, put cost, it will say like, here's what we've deployed and here's the estimate monthly cost of it. Hey, it's great. Shifting left is all what we said.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. So I'm just rambling here. Like I have access to you who built this thing, so I have to use my shot here to request
course.
changes. So that,
Yeah, for sure.
That's what we're here for.
I appreciate it very much. So and what is the best way for me, for anybody else to put feedbacks or requests? Is it like GitHub issues or?
Yeah. So GitHub issues, Slack messages, or you can talk to us directly anytime if you want to.
Okay. I will make sure to put my feedbacks in Slack with Eric or something like that.
There's also a community meeting that you can join and suggest stuff
Okay.
and talk to
Yeah.
us if it's not like an open discussion.
Yeah, that's actually a thing that Revital runs once a month, and
Okay.
there's good participation there and amazing contributors that participate.
Okay. I'll do that. I'll collect all of my feedback, all of the stuff I learned. And the thing is, like, you will see when I approach this, I put my stupid hat on, and I just like I try to approach this like, okay, let's. I know nothing. I just need to do this, and let's figure it out. And I note all of the issues I run into and how do I go around them. So I'm happy to share any experiences I have.
Cool. We'd be very, very happy to hear them.
Awesome.
So yeah, we're way past our time, but I think it was well worth it. It was really, thank you for coming and for your time. And obviously, you're welcome anytime, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you, friends. I'll be in touch, and I will definitely be playing around with this thing. Thank you so much for having me here.
I was your wrong, so I just didn't do it.